Hi, I'm Maria Peagler, author of Color Mastery, 10 Principles for Creating Stunning Quilts, and today in this short video I'm going to do an extreme makeover quilt edition. Here is the very first quilt I ever made. It's a log cabin with large strips, and when it came to picking the colors I really didn't understand what I needed to do. I did get the contrast right. As you can see, the log cabin has a red center and it has two very opposing sides with different colors, but I didn't have a stash, and so I just went and picked colors at the store really with no plan other than colors that I liked. Now that I know far more about color, if I were to make this quilt over again, I would do it quite differently. Here's the makeover block that I did, and this is the very same log cabin design, the same number of strips, the same size, but I did it very differently. The first thing what I did is I concentrated on two colors only, pink and green. Now I looked at pink and green and then looked at my stash and picked out a lot of different prints. And you'll notice that in my original quilt I don't have a lot of prints. I used mostly modeled solids, and that's because I didn't have a lot of confidence and didn't know if I could put prints together. But here I knew I could do that. So I limited myself to two colors, and within those colors I picked some very busy prints, but they all go together quite well. So what's the difference between this block and this log cabin block here? Well, the difference is I use the color mastery process, which all begins with a color journal. This is a page from my color journal, and it started with the picture of a beautiful chair that I liked that had a pink and green color combination. And so the first thing that I did was I went to the color wheel that's in the book, and I looked at pink and green on that color wheel. Now pink is not on the color wheel, but the color that it comes from is red, and red is on the color wheel, and red and green are opposites on the color wheel. Now that tells me that they have a lot of contrast, because colors that are directly across from each other have high contrast, whereas colors that are close to each other like red and orange have very low contrast. Now red and green is called a complementary color harmony, and that means that it's a high contrast color palette, which is great for a design like log cabin. It can really play up and use a complementary color harmony well, because I have two opposing sides and a high contrast color palette works well. So I still picked fabrics that I liked the same way that I did here, but here I had a plan. I knew that I was using a complementary color harmony, and that gave me far more freedom to pick different types of fabrics. Notice that they're mostly in the medium value range. I didn't use a lot of lights and darks. I didn't have to. Because pink and green are complementary, they have so much contrast that the color or the hue is doing all the work. So I didn't have to worry about how bright, how dull, how light or dark these fabrics were. I really could just pick the fabrics I wanted, and they worked quite well. If you're interested in doing your own Extreme Makeover Quilt Edition, you can do it with Color Mastery, 10 Principles for Creating Stunning Quilts, available at your local quilt shop, on Amazon and atlasbooks.com. And if you're interested in doing your own color journal, those are available on the Color Mastery Color CD, available from my website at www.colormastery.com.